All right, Shalom. We're the Hebrew Israelites who come in, week out to prophesy the end of the world as we know it. All right? Which is the downfall of Babylon the Great and the nation of Edom. Okay? To wake up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and Speckled Bird. Get you to repent, acknowledge your offense, pray for forgiveness, and get back in order. All right? And first and foremost, and as always, all praise is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them and taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and sincerity, the hopeful elect, Tabernacle of David. The book of Revelation, chapter 19. And 15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. All right? Almighty power. The fierceness and the wrath, and that sharp sword, and that rod of iron is very close to decimating, okay, the world as we know it, the power structure, the rulership, all right? Because starting with the one that the world ignorantly knows as Jesus, who is the original angry black man, who's coming back to subdue the world with rulership and put everybody under his foot and have in co-rulership his people, the nation of Israel, who are the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, all right? That's what this Bible is about. This Bible is a book about who's going to rule the earth, how the earth is going to be ruled. Okay? Right now, the devil has been given a certain amount of time to rule the earth in wickedness. All right? So whatever is going on, whatever you see right now, is the desire of the wicked one. When I say the wicked one, we're talking about human beings. We're talking about the third part of man. Okay? Because men are divided into three sections of people. You have the sons of God, or the sons of the righteous, right? You have the sons of man, who are all the other nations except for the sons of the wicked, who is the nation of Edom. All right? So on the good end, you have the nation of Israel. On the bad end, you have the nation of Edom, and everybody else is in the middle. The sons of men. The wicked, the righteous, or should I say, the wicked is on the left, righteous on the right, and in the middle is everybody else, all the other nations. Okay? Those are the three parts of men. That's the way Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai set it up. God and his son, they set it up like this. All right? And you were taught contrary to that. All right, brother. You were taught contrary to this one truth. So now you just think you can believe whatever the hell you want to. And you're utterly confused. All All right? If you don't know that there's three parts of men, okay, then you have been misled in your learning and in your teaching. Let's get that real quick. Through the Spirit. Slocky, bear with me for a minute. Get this. Okay. All right, so this is Revelation. This is one of the instances. Look. Salaki, Revelation 9. Bear with me. This is Revelation 9 and 18. By these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. Okay? And that's talking about the time that we're in right now. Okay? Let me read it from the top. Revelation, not from the top, but from the sixth angel. Revelation 9 and 13. Now listen. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High. Okay. Saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Okay? So if there, what is being spoken of here is the third part of men. What does that mean? That means that there's three parts of men. The third part, the sons of the wicked, the Edomites. The first part, the sons of the righteous, the sons of God, who are the nation of Israel. Okay? The nation of Israel wasn't always God's chosen people. Before the name Israel came into existence, God's chosen people were the sons of God. All right? So Isaac was a son of God. All right? Abraham was a son of God. You understand? Jacob was the son of God, whose name was changed to Israel. All right? And then when Israel came, the 12 tribes of Israel became God's chosen through Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. So that's the first part of men, the sons of God. Noah was a son of God. Moses was a son of God. All right. Oh no, the sons of God were the angels that fell from heaven. No, that's wrong. That's a wives' tale. All right, brother. That's a wives' tale that you heard. Believe in God? Yeah? You Mexican? What's your nationality? What's your dad? Indian? Okay, so the Native Americans, right? The Mexicans, all of the down South America, you understand? These are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Do you know that God has a chosen people? Yes. Who is God's chosen people? Me. Huh? Me. You. That's not the answer to the question. Okay? What I'm telling you is you are one of those people, but let me qualify it, okay? God has a chosen people. Do you know the name of God's chosen people? Oh boy. The 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. The Mexicans are one of those tribes. The Indians are one of those tribes. So when you say you, that's true. Are you a homosexual? You got to come out of that. God don't like that. You said you believe in God, right? Yeah. All right, well, God don't like, you can't be no homosexual if you're a man. I know. So you got to stop that, repent. Can you do that? You got to repent. You got to come out of that. Yeah. All right. We good? I'm good. I'll just let you know what you got to do. Okay. All right. God's watching you. Watching you. We're in the time of judgment right now. Yeah. All right. Okay, Mama. You're gonna show me the scriptures. Okay. Whew. Okay, he started mowing out. At first he seemed like he could be talked to, but hey, you gotta warn everybody. Most High brought that Mo by to to be warned. Okay. Lord willing, I spoke what? The words of Yahweh Shemi Yahushua. All right, again. All right, so this is Revelation 9 and 15. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Okay? Now, you got to qualify the third part of men. There are 3 parts of men. You got the sons of God, the sons of men, and the sons of the wicked, which is the third part, who are slated to be destroyed because right now they're in rulership. All right? The earth is given into the hand of who? The wicked, the sons of the wicked. Let's get that real quick. Book of Job 9 and 24. Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right? Going back to the 3 parts of men. The sons of God, or the sons of the righteous. The sons of men, which are the heathen, the other nations. Then you have the sons of the wicked, who's ruling the earth right now at this time. Okay? Precept upon precept. So, again, the wicked were given a space of time to rule the world, to rule the earth, according to Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So that's letting you know this guy was given an expanse of time, a certain amount of time to rule the earth. Okay. This is Revelation 20:7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. All right? So that's when he got his rulership. That's when the earth was given into his hands. After the 1,000 years, right, that they were put in prison. This is Revelation 20:3. And cast him into the bottomless pit. Who was cast into the bottomless pit? The nation of Edom. All right? Esau and his family, if you will. The sons of the wicked. All right? Before they were given the rulership of the earth, they were in the body. They were up in the caves and the hills of Georgia, Russia, which they call the Caucasus. Revelation 20:3, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. Meaning he was going to be given a certain amount of time to rule the world. And after that he must be loosed a little season. That little season was his time to rule. Who? The sons of the wicked, the third part of men. All right? We're in that season right now. We're at the end of that season. So the world belongs to him right now. And we're at the end of that thing. See, I started out wanting to go into the chariots and the lasers coming out of the mouth of the chariot. And here we are breaking down who's ruling the earth right now. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. Jump down to 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Now, that's him coming into his rulership in the 1400s. Okay? Here we are, 500 years later. That must be a little season. By extrapolation, we can safely extrapolate that in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Okay? And these devils started rising up, and they subdued the earth. Because before that, Jake was in them castles. I saw that video, nice video. The brother went abroad. He went on vacation or whatever, and took pictures of the castles and went in the basements and saw the relics, and that was Jake. All right. So the third part of man is still in rulership right now, but he's circling the dream. This came out yesterday, and it's coming out again. 2 Ezra 6. And 6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? We're talking about rulership in the world. Or when is the devil's rulership going to come to an end? And when are we coming into the kingdom of heaven? That's what's being spoken of right now. Talking about the time that we're in right now, because we're at the end of this devil's rulership. Okay? You know the guy that came up out of Georgia, Russia, the hills and the caves of Georgia, Russia, also called the Caucasus. All right? The Zoids. All right? 2nd Ezra 6 and 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That's letting you know who's in rulership of the world as we speak. That would be Esau, the sons of the wicked, the Edomites, the nation of the Edom, are ruling the world right now. And we're at the end of it. This is describing the end of Esau's world. Let me read it again. For Esau is the end of the world. The world as we know it right now is Esau's world, which we see it coming to an end. And then it reads on, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That means that in the kingdom of heaven, the nation of Israel is going to be in rulership. We're at the end of this rulership, which belongs to the wicked, the third part of men, all right, who had the righteous, or the first part of men, the sons of God, had us in captivity. Now this is coming to an end, and the whole thing is trading places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Okay? So that's what's going on in the earth right now. How is the third part of men going to be destroyed? Revelation 9 and 14, saying to the Salakia, 15, Revelation 9 and 15, and the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. So here's the time that we're in right now. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. That number is the number of nuclear missiles that are going to destroy completely North America, where the third part of men, these devils, the nation of Edom, this is their stronghold, okay, where they did all manner of abominations to the children of Israel. Now it's time for that payback, okay? And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, 200 million. And I heard the number of them, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. So that's describing a different vessel, if you will. That's describing an ICBM nuclear missile. It said out of their mouths. Well, out of the chariots of Israel, out of his mouth, out of Yahushai's mouth, okay, his mouth speaking of the chariot, were firing lasers. It's a poetic way of explaining the vision. Okay? This is John on the Isle of Patmos, received a vision, and he's doing his best, right, to describe it and speak in code. All right? It's hidden in code. And guess what? Only the elect are going to understand it. And the Most High designed it that way. Okay? He designed it to be hidden so that only the elect will understand. It is not given unto you to understand the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. All right? So, Revelation 9 and 16 again. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. This is talking about the nuclear missiles. It's going to describe them. And thus I saw the horses, the nuclear missiles, in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. So, what happened is those missiles destroyed America. And those that didn't get beamed up. This is Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Okay? That was the rescue. That was the extraction. Okay? Whoever got beamed up didn't get blown up by the missiles. Okay? Here's the blowing up. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city, America, fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. Okay? So that great earthquake is the same as this. Revelation 9 and 18. By these three was the third part of men, the Edomites, killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. So we're in that time right now when you see Russia saying things like, we ain't even started warring yet, referring to those missiles. When the nukes start dropping, nigga, then now we're at war. Okay? Now, we're in the time of war. Let's get that. It's Ecclesiastes. Three. 3 and 1. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under heaven. 8. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. We're in the time of war. All right? Everything going on right now in the world is centered around the movement that actually started back in 2013, 2014, right? With the color revolution that started in the Ukraine. There was a coup, and the government of the Ukraine was overthrown by who? Babylon the Great did that. And they brag about it. Victoria Nuland Okay, look that up. This, I don't know what the hell she is. Some fucking politician. Her name is Victoria Nuland. She brags about how they installed a puppet dictatorship in the Ukraine, right? Causing Vladimir Putin at that time to go down and secure Crimea and set up, knowing what that whole situation was about. Vlad ran down and said, "Oh, we got Crimea, nigga. What's your next move?" It was all chess. Okay, and it goes all the way back to before that, during the Cold War. But when Vlad had to go secure Crimea, that was a big part of what we're seeing right now today. That's when the war actually started, right? And it took this long to, what was it, February of this year, for it to escalate to that next level. The invasion, if you will, of the Ukraine by Russia. These are steps, right, towards what we know as World War III. Okay. Now everybody's choosing sides. I'm getting to the chariots and the lasers, okay? Because the chariots and the lasers are part of World War III. All right? I'm building it up because the spirit is taking it that way. All right? This whole book is about war. Okay? When you're at war, you're fighting against the enemy. Let's get that real quick again. See, because there was an extraction. We're being held hostage. The children of Israel were brought here against their will in chains and enslaved. And we're still in those chains and we're still enslaved right now. And we're being held hostage. POWs, they got weapons on us like this. No, we're not going to let you. Most High said, let my people go. And Esau, the so-called white man, who is the devil and Satan, is like this. Nope, you niggas ain't going nowhere. Just like Pharaoh. Okay? Most High said, let my people go. No. Well, what happened to Pharaoh? As a matter of not letting the children of Israel go. Well, they got dealt with. And here we are doing it again. All right? They got us under lock and key. Still slaving, all right, without the chains, but with the mental chains, okay? Again, this is Revelation 11 and 12. And this is the extraction, okay? You got prisoners of war in the POW camp, right? With stripes on, and they're breaking rocks on the chain gang. That's us, all right? Being held at gunpoint. How they do it now, right? You put your finger out here for safety. You don't put your finger on the trigger. You rest it right near the trigger so that you don't have an accident, right? We're being held at gunpoint, and what's going to happen is it's a hot LZ, right? America is a hot LZ. What does that mean? A hot LZ landing zone, all right? We're in the middle of a hot LZ. You got the chariots of Israel out there, right, running scouting missions. They show up, they survey, right? They're surveying the situation. There's going to come a time when they're going to come into the hot LZ and perform the extraction. Because this is a war. All right? The angels are doing reconnaissance missions. Recon. They're out right now surveying and setting it up, poking at the enemy, right? Figuring out when and how they're going to perform the extraction. They already know, but here's what's going on in the movie, if you will, all right? And here's the extraction. We're reading about it, all right? I'll start at 11. Revelation 11 and 11. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. The Most High woke us up and said, hey, get up. It's time for the extraction. We sitting there, yeah, we're in slavery. This is what it is. This is all it is. Hey, no. Hey, Stockholm, wake up. All right. Jake is down here with Stockholm Syndrome, right? Being a homeborn slave, right? Don't know who you are. The Most High sent the Spirit into his prophets to say, hey, it's time to wake up. It's almost time for the extraction. Okay? And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. He said, what do you mean, nigga? You ain't no Israelite. You're not no Jew, nigger. The Jews are in they scared. Oh shit, these niggas done found out. We spent all that money burying, hiding, chipping noses, and here's the extraction. Wake up, niggas. It's time to be rescued. What the Christian church calls being saved, and have no clue what it's about. Okay? No, nigga, you're not saved. You're still in slavery. You're still in chains in a fucking jumpsuit, breaking rocks. You're not saved. Here's the saving. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. Oh, you understand now? You done read the book and now you get it? Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. Hey. The birds came into the hot LZ. Here come the bird. You hear the rotor blades, which you don't hear nothing from the chariots, but it's an analogy going back to the Nam, if you will, which I used to hear stories, first-hand stories. Here come the rotor blades. Like, oh shit. It's the extraction. Get ready. You understand? That's what come up hither means. Come up hither means get ready to be extracted from the POW camp. All right? And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, meaning the ropes came down with the ladder. The ladder rope came down. They blew a hole in the ceiling of the cell, right? The ladder was dropped down. But in this case, it's the chariots of Israel. and they sent down a tractor beam. No rope, no rope ladder. Didn't have to blow a hole in the ceiling. Nope. You're just going to be transported like Star Trek. Beam me up, Scotty, probably out of the room that you're in, through the ceiling. Speculating, but that's what this is describing. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and here's the part I'm trying to get to. Here's the point. And their enemies beheld them. Okay? This is the war movie that we're in right now. Okay? Now, what just happened in the movie? Well, some spaceships came into the Hot LZ and beamed us up. What role do these spaceships play in this movie? Well, first of all, they're spaceships. Okay? The first scripture that I read was this. Out of his mouth. Listen. 19. Revelation 19. And 15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword. Okay. We all know that a sword is an instrument of war. Right? It's a weapon of war. Okay? So this weapon of war came out of his mouth. Is that talking about Yahushua opened up his mouth and a sword came out? No. Nope. It's talking about his war chariot. Okay. And I don't know if it verbatim what I'm saying is true. I'm speculating. A hatch opened up on the vehicle, on the spaceship. A hatch opened up. And that's when that laser, the hatch being his mouth, the ship being him in this case. Not his physical body, not him particularly, the him being spoken out of his mouth. His mouth would be the hatch. His would be the ship. Out of the ship's mouth, out of the ship's hatch, a laser shot. That's what this is saying. It's a lock in. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. Okay? These ships play an integral part of the war that we're involved in right now and our salvation. Okay? Just like they did in ancient Egypt. Yahushua was there, the one who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His chariot was there, doing all manner of miracles, if you will. Okay? And we're in that time again. We're in the time of deliverance. What did the chariot, the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of cloud by night, what did it do? It delivered us out of the hands of our enemies. Right? Hey, when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, when the Most High sent Moses to tell Pharaoh, hey, let my people go. At first they family, oh, nigga, whatever. And then Moses started showing the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh. So you don't want to fuck with the Most High. So he started showing him some things, the plagues, right? Well, we're looking at the plagues going down right now, and people can't put two and two together. Well, the same thing is going on, the plagues. The plague, monkey pops, pop the monkey, okay? Marburg, CV 2020, you name it. Ebola, it's worse than the deadly Ebola. Well, yeah, we know Frank Einstein. Frank Einstein been in the laboratory. See, people think that Frankenstein, they think he's the monster. Frankenstein ain't the monster. The monster is Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein ain't the nigga that was with the plugs. That's not Frankenstein. Frankenstein is the doctor who created the monster. See? See? The nigga's name is Dr. Frank Einstein, whose brother is Albert. You got Albert Einstein and you got Frank Einstein. Right? Frank Einstein. Dr. Frank Einstein. Albert's brother. They made Albert famous, right? And they made Frank as famous too. But you think he's the monster. He's not the monster. Nigga, you're the monster. You're Frank Einstein's monster. He done put you back together, sewed you up, put a new brain, put a spark of electricity, of wickedness in you, and you're out tearing shit up like a wild bull in a net. Just like I gotta shoe this fly that's on the camera. The fly could be a motherfucking fly on the wall. Hey, Frank Einstein got some shit right now. Nigga, I got a drone that looks just like a fly. I'm gonna listen to the nigga in real time. I don't need to wait until he posts the video. Hell, Frank Einstein believes that, okay, well, we're gonna let him go live so that we can, in real time, we can get the information. No, nigga, the Most High put the spirit on you to think that that's what you're doing, so the word could go. Hey, the Most High is all perfect balance. He's gonna make this devil think that you're brilliant enough to come up with an idea. I can send frequency waves, radio waves, and I can, in real time, show a nigga get shot up on Facebook. And Frank Einstein believes that he came up with the prospect and implemented the infrastructure for which to do that. He believes that he did it. Nigga, you are under some strong delusion. Now, you are Dr. Frank Einstein. Albert's brother. Who is Albert Einstein? Okay. Well, the devil gives him credit for being this super smart, right? Super Edomite, brainiac that we got to learn about in this brainwashing school. Somehow this guy was up there with George Washington, who hated niggas, enslaved niggas, and all of these so-called founding fathers and these heroes, right? Frank's brother Albert Einstein was elevated way up here. You see how this mind control works? That MK. And I'll use this analogy again. You think that Frank Einstein is the monster. He's not the monster. The monster is Frank. He created a monster, but that's just his. See, Frank Einstein, right? The so-called Jew, the fucking devil, right? He's trying to be the Most High. Oh, I created human life. It's alive, right? I'm God. We went over that yesterday. Nigga, you're the monster that Frank Einstein created. And you think that the monster's name is Frank Einstein. Nigga, you think you're Frank. Frankie. Right? Don't make Frankie come out. Right? See? Hey, the doctor did a good job. What's his name? Frank, this nigga, Sonetta. What's his name? Frank, this nigga is a clown. Letting you know that old Frank Einstein, he did a pretty good job, all right, of turning things upside down. You show a green nigga with some bolts coming out of his neck, and you say, who is this? What are they going to say? They're not going to say, well, that's Frankenstein's monster. No, they're going to say, that's Frankenstein. You show a picture of Caesar Borgia in Japan, that Jesus. No, nigga. You'll believe anything that you were taught. That is not Frankenstein, nigga. It's not Frank Einstein. All right? That's his monster. And the monster is you, nigga. All right? Pre-programmed, taken apart and put back together out of spare parts. And they heard a great voice from heaven. This is Revelation 11 and 12. The extraction again. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. That's giving you a glimpse into the war. That's when the war, right, is at its height. Who are the players in the war at that time? Here's the extraction, all right? We're being liberated from our enemies, taken out of the POW camp. And right after that, let me read on. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. What men? The third part of men. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. All right, so that's describing the war. Okay? Back to 19. Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies. All the armies of the world are going to be called together by the Most High. Why? So that he can make a quick work of them in what is known as an ambush. Okay? I like to describe it this way. All right? This is how Sun Tzu would break it down. He said, well, the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, is drawing all the armies of the world into an ambush because he's got superior firepower. We're talking about the Lord of hosts, right? The Lord, the ruler of all armies, including his own. Now what he wants to do is have no more war. So there's no need for the armies of the earth no more. So they're all going to be destroyed in one fell swoop, in 1 hour. All right? And we're at that point in the movie right now. Okay? Movie's getting good. And the men of the Lord, we are struggling to exercise as best we can patience. We're eager. We got run, nigga, run quickly to the lobby and get a refill of popcorn. We got the big one, unlimited refills, and go get some lemonade, you know, or some tea. Go get another tea, unsweetened. How about that? Because the good part, we're at the good part, right? Vlad done started, you know, impaling. Vlad is and talking shit. Vlad is talking shit and impaling. And according to what his last threat, nigga, I just got started. Just got started impaling niggas. So go get the popcorn, right? We still got work to do. We're narrating, like the brother in South Carolina. What does he say? Narrator SC. He's narrating this movie. Narrator is the guy that's, you know, he's telling you the story as you're watching it. Okay? Narrator SC. Okay, so, and we're narrators as well. We're reporters. We're newsmen. We bring out the news. In the news! That's the brother from, I believe, North Carolina. Hawad. The elder brother Hawad, right? And that's the brotherhood. You understand? We watch, and these guys are real good at what they do. Okay? And no, we don't watch it for entertainment. We watch it to learn. And there's an element of being entertained. And when you're naturally funny and gifted, right? It's a pleasure to watch some of these brothers do their work. Right? the brother Aharon, I believe is his name, from Mississippi, I think. No, Alabama. Is it Alabama? He's from Alabama. Mysteries of the Kingdom. Really good. Great narrator. Funny. Tongue in cheek. Wise. Smart. Right? And these are young brothers. And I got no problem with a wise man who is younger. Right? No problem. So, here we are at this part of the greatest piece of film, if you will, ever before produced. We're at the point where Vlad is, or the Most High is turning Vlad up. Vlad just got started. Nigga, we ain't done nothing yet. I got firepower. You niggas know it. You stupid for thinking that I'm not going to use these things. Okay? We're like this. Oh! Hey! Georgia Guidestones went down. Hey! We're like, oh! What? You know how you be watching the movie? And some shit happened. What was that? Oh, shit! What does that mean? How does that play into what is going on? Was it an RPG? Did the guy in the silver car pull out an RPG and sit back? Number 7, right? Well, what RPG is that? RPG number 7 is my favorite. That's out of a movie. But did the Most High send a chariot, and out of that chariot's mouth goeth the sharp sword, sparks and tempests? Was it that? If you look at the trajectory of the rubble, it looks like it's skirting out to one side, which is consistent with a side shot. Okay. Not really one coming from above. And I don't know. I would love for it to be what they call a lightning strike. Somebody said DEW, which is directed energy weapon. Really, none of it matters. What is the bigger picture? The bigger picture is this. The movie's getting good. You got to wake a nigga up and say, did you see what happened to Georgia Guidestones? Georgia Guidestones? I never, did they play in town? Oh, that's the Georgia Satellites. I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-ling-a-ling. Right? The Georgia Guidestones came down. The Georgia Guidestones fell. They fell off the stage while performing in their concert. I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-ling-a-ling. All right. The movie's getting good. Heads of state getting... yesterday, I brought up the heads of state, and I didn't follow through. I stopped. I brought out 2 heads of state, Boris Johnson and this guy, I forget his name, from Sri Lanka, stepping down. Okay? One ex-head of state in Japan, over there in Ammon, the land of Ammon where they're at now. He's an ex-president, if you will. This nigga, right, according to the news, was assassinated. Okay. Now these guys, if you're the head of state, if you're that guy, you know something about the nuclear football, right? And then this guy who used to hold the nuclear football for Boris Yeltsin over in Magog, the land of Magog, Russia, that guy, one of the top generals, right, was assassinated. What is that? Going back to, see, I didn't bring this out yesterday. I forgot. I kind of moved forward. But this thing's getting good, right? That's significant in the war. That's a significant excerpt. What do you call it? What do you call it when you in the play? This scene, if you will. This scene in the movie is very, very significant. It's a significant scene in the movie overall. Don't be afraid, sis. Come and ask me what I'm doing. Am I what? Black? Oh, am I live? No, I'm gonna upload it. You're safe. I won't turn the camera on you. Ask me what I'm doing. Huh? I'm preaching. Now ask me what I'm preaching. I'm preaching your nationality. What is your nationality? Come. You're African? Okay, so let me ask you this. Oh, you want to get on the camera? Huh? Okay. All right, so.
He only left you basic instructions before leaving Earth. But he didn't give you the extracurricular.
Do you believe in God?
I do not.
You don't?
I believe in greater divine.
The greater divine?
The great divine creator.
Okay. Did the great divine creator create you?
He created this world.
But he didn't create you.
He created this world. If it wasn't for this world, if he hadn't put this world here, I wouldn't be here. So what does that mean?
It means he created you.
He created everybody.
Okay.
So,
right.
yes.
Okay, now, correct, according to this. Now, he has a chosen people that he loves, that he loves more than everybody that he created. Hey, you know what? You're going to blow your chance. You're going to blow your chance for understanding. You're going to blow your chance for understanding. It don't come twice. Bye, sis. She was a demon. She was. Hey, Jake is bugged out, man. Now she's demoning out. She's screaming. Screaming demon. I used to have one of those when I was a kid, right? I was what, 6? Screaming demons came out. These little motorcycles, right? Put the batteries in them, and you turn the wheel and go in a circle. They're called the Screaming Demons. All 3 of us had one. My brothers. And when old Gilbert pulls up on his chopper, right, I'm like, Screaming Demons. Every time. So this is what we got, all right? Jake comes up. She's looking the whole time. What's going on? I'm like, come on up here, all right? Let's get it over with. You're either going to hear or forbear. It's a lock. And she's out of there. Okay. She got this far and couldn't shut the fuck up. And when that moment comes in the movie where everybody's going to their understanding is going to be turned on, she goes, oh, I blew my chance. Okay. You're going to tell me, oh, the great divine. Okay. Does the great divine have a name? You couldn't stick around long enough to find out. And it wasn't meant for you to find out, but this is part of the movie. All right. Anyway, back to where we are in the movie. All right. Heads of state. People are stepping down. It's time for me to get to the bunker. Oh, I'm full of shit? You calling me out? I'm a liar and it's obvious now? Okay, I'm going to step down and I'm going to step right down into my bunker because time is short, right? I'm going to step down. One nigga Sri Lanka got chased the fuck up out of there. Okay? What does that fall under? That falls under measuring thou the time diligently of itself. 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. We're in the time of the great visitation. Okay? And part of that visitation is about those chariots that everybody is talking about right now. Okay? You can't go onto YouTube without a million videos saturating everything talking about the chariots. Now, of course, what they got to do is they got to make it impossible for you to find out what's really going on. How do you do that? As much disinformation as you can put up. And whoever is on point, what are they doing? Your whole channel got to come down, nigga. We got to hide you, shadow ban, whatever we can do to stop the real truth. We got to control the fucking narrative. All right? Here's where we're at. Why? Because again, it is the very same time. Let's prove it even further. 2 Ezra 9. And 2 again. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, back to Sri Lanka. Nigga, I'm finna swim in your pool. When we run you the fuck up out of here, and you better be gone when we get there. We're gonna light your shit on fire and swim in the pool. That's uproars of the people. Okay? Here's where we're at in the movie. Okay? If you got the remote controller, okay, you can see the timeline of how much of the movie is left before the end. What is that called? Measure thou the time diligently. Click on, pause the movie for a minute. And see, this is what it means to have eyes to see. We have one that can see, right? Pause the movie. Nigga, there's 10 minutes left in the movie. This gotta be the best last 10 minutes ever, right? Because there's a sequel. There's something coming after the movie ends. It's called The Kingdom. And we'll be living, just like we're living this part out, it's already be written. We'll understand when we're in the kingdom and we got them new bodies, Lord willing we are those men, we'll understand what happened, what's coming, our function, our part, our role, if you will. We'll understand so much more then than we do now. Right now, we're just narrating what we've been given in part. Okay? We're prophesying in part. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Okay? Here's where we're at in the movie right now. Uproars and earthquakes. Earthquakes at this point are countless. That, right? To keep Jake's attention, you gotta, Jake has to even know what the Georgia Guidestones. If you knew what the Georgia Guidestones were going back 10 years, and to see them get blown up, you're like, the hell was that? And why? Like, the movie is great right now. And if you just found out what the Georgia Guidestones are the day that they got blown up, here's the message for you. Salaki, bear with me. Romans 13 and 11. Just found out in the last week what the Georgia Guidestones are, this precept is for you. Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Nigga, you gotta wake up. They just blew up the Georgia Guidestones. You don't know what they are, but you're hearing about it. Apparently, the Georgia Guidestones were a big secret to a nigga that is asleep, right? You sleeping through the movie. The movie's going on, nigga. You over there snoring, right? You worse than a nigga screaming at the screen. Run! This nigga growling like a damn lion, right? With sleep apnea. It is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. We're this close. I'm saved. You're asleep and scared. Christian gotta be scared right now because you're so damn confused. Nigga, you're so confused right now. What are you to do? Slovakia, bear with me. wrap it up. Okay. The movie is excellent at this time. Let's go to Revelation 19 again and 21. I didn't finish 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. When we get to the part of the movie, see, we're looking at World War III. In the middle of World War III, the ambush. See, because they're all going to be fighting. When everybody joins the war and it's officially declared, oh, we're in World War III, and everybody's army is fighting each other. That is the point. That you can't get up and go to the bathroom. You better have enough popcorn and lemonade, or tea, excuse me. Because to get up out of your seat at that moment is just, no. No. Okay? This is the best part of what's left of the movie, right? Because Most High done tricked you, baited you, right? What's the bait? We're going to run the New World Order. If I got to fight all my homies to see who's the king of the hill, well, let's fight about it. Let's bare knuckle, you know? Who's going to rule in the New World Order? Not America. Fuck that, nigga. Who's with me? Who's on my side? Let's bare knuckle fight about it. That's the bait. To draw everybody into what? The strike zone of the ambush. Okay? Let's get it real quick. Gathered together. Joel 3. This works a lot better in a lesson. Joel 3 and 2. I will gather all nations. That's the Most High telling you what he's going to do and why. I will gather all nations, meaning the armies of all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. We jump back to Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse. Wait a minute. Go back to Joel. And I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Joseph. The same thing. Once I gathered them all together with the bait, the cheese is whoever wins this battle is going to run the New World Order from the top down. But what they don't understand is the third element that's actually going to win the war and run the New World Order from the top down, not the world order that they're talking about. Hey, to the victor goes the spoils, right? Well, Yahushai's middle name should be Victor, as in victorious, because he's going to win. All right? I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. He's telling you why he's going to destroy all the armies of the nations of the earth. Because they fucked with the apple of his eye for harming my people. Now I got to round you all up and turn you into dust and smell of smoke. Okay? How? With an ambush. Right? Because I'm the supreme warrior up here. I created war. I created all war tactics. This one's called an ambush. Okay? And here's the reason why I'm conducting this ambush, to destroy all the armies of the nations. Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the sea hip, and them that worshipped his image. Both were cast alive into a lake burning with fire and brimstone. The lake burning with fire and brimstone is the result of the ICBM still having to do with World War III. Okay? And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat on the horse, which sword proceedeth out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So if you survived the blast, the angels got you. War of the Worlds. Okay? This is pretty much the greatest scene in the movie. We quickly get Wisdom of Solomon 5. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as that have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. Okay, when those chariots as a whole come into the scene, or come on the scene of the movie, all bets are off. Right? Them lasers. The chariots, but the lasers on the chariots make them the most formidable weapon of war ever. You talk about weapons of mass destruction that were never found in Iran or Iraq. All right, now. 2nd Ezra 9, or Salaki 13. So, World War III is jumping off. All the nations' armies fighting each other. Then this happens. 2nd Ezra 13 and 33. And when all the people hear his voice, what is his voice? His voice is a laser beam. Who is he? Yahushua and his chariot. So out of nowhere, out of the third dimension, war chariots and laser beams are just going to start going in. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. When it says leave their own land, Salakia. It says, when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land. Shall in their own land, meaning your own nation. Okay? Because they're going to be in the valley of Yahushua, largely, at that time. The main battle of Armageddon is happening in Armageddon. Armageddon. Okay? The mountain of truth. All right, so in the Middle East. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to be fighting each other over the land and over who's going to run shit. And then, the fuck? Whose weapons are those? And then that music is going to start in the theater. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, pa, 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 pa. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. That means World War III is on and cracking. Then the music, and then them shots. Right? And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together. They're going to stop fighting each other and say, nigga, we got bigger fish to fry. Fuck. There ain't going to be no new world order if we don't deal with this threat. And this threat is Yahweh Shai and the angels, the host of heaven, the armies of heaven, the army of heaven, in their war chariots, coming to do this. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and overcome him by fighting. Okay, so they're going to try to fight against God, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and the angels. Okay? Okay. This is 2 Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. That man is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. When it says he turned his countenance to look, it means he turned his ship. And great fear fell upon them which seen him. In every UFO movie, there's a point where everybody comes out and does that. And that's what this is describing. And they put this in movies because they read this. Okay? And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, that's the laser coming out of the hatch, the laser hatch. All they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. This is Ezra describing the war in heaven, if you will, which is the sky. The war against the UFOs and the F-18s, just to simplify. Okay. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men. This is all the nations' armies fighting against each other in World War III. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. The man that came out of the sea is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, As soon as they saw him, and his chariot was so huge, it was like, every eye shall see him, right? His chariot was so huge, they're like, what the fuck? It's going to show you how big. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain. His chariot was so big, it looked like a big old mountain. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. They're like, that fucking mountain come from in the sky? So Ezra's like, let me look around and see where they cut this mountain out of the mountain range. And I don't see it. Right? And after this I beheld, who is I? Ezra. After this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. He said, after this I looked, and I saw these niggas were scared and shitting on themselves. And what did they do? Some stupid shit. They tried to... I saw him trying to fight against this thing. Right? He's showing you, he's describing to you what he saw in the vision. After this, I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. They fought anyway, knowing that they didn't have a chance. And lo, as I saw the violence of the multitude that came together, now he's describing the actual contact of all of the armies of the world and their war chariots against the angels of God in their war chariots, including the one that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been, a blast of fire going into them lasers, going into the weaponry that are included on the war chariots. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been, a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. Ezra is describing to the best of his ability what he was looking at, because Ezra was thousands of years, a couple of thousand years ago, trying to describe some shit that we go to the movies and see CGI, Star Wars, nigga. That's normal for us. Ezra's like this. Well, how do I describe that shit? Okay. Well, he was spitting out of his mouth. He's talking about the ship. Right? It had. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been, a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So that's Ezra's telling you how all the armies of the world had been reduced to dust and smell of smoke. And that's basically the end of World War III. Certainly the armies of the world. Okay? And how were they taken down? With the weapons that are on the chariots of Israel. All right? Revelation 2. And 16. This is Yahushua speaking. Repent, or else I will come unto thee quickly, and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. Them lasers. All right? This is Revelation 1 and 16. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. Thing was glowing. His countenance. His countenance is that ship. Isaiah 11 and 4. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove the equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. The wicked is the third part of men. And you damn 2/3. This is Revelation 2 and 12. And to the angel of the church in Pergamos write, these things saith he which hath the sharp sword with 2 edges. Okay? That sharp sword. All right? Book of Job. Job 4 and 9. By the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. Most High got a war chariot too. But he sends his son to do the dirty work. Book of Isaiah 30. And 33. For Tophet is ordained of old, yea, for the king is prepared, he hath made it deep and large. The pile thereof is fire and much wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, doth kindle it. A fiery stream issued out of his mouth. This is the book of Psalm 18. And 6. In my distress I called upon the Lord and cried unto my power. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken because of his wrath. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. What do you mean fire came out of his mouth? Been talking about it the whole time. All right, so we'll that's good enough. We'll close it right there. All right, so hey, the movie, we're coming up, we're very close to the best part of the movie. So keep your eyes on Vlad the Impaler, because he's leading the charge. Vlad is leading the charge. He's just getting started. Okay? Vlad is going to get everybody fighting against each other. And then the fight is going to move down into the valley of Yehoshaphat. Okay? The Most High's judgment. That's when the angels are coming in. Pursuant to the precepts. All right? So hang in there. All right? Be like Dudley and do right. Examine yourself, get yourself right. Fight the good fight. Endure until the end. All right? So with that, we'll say, Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim HaKadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us the truth. Shalom and salutation to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect, tabernacle of David. All right? And work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right? Shalom.